Hi, everyone. It is Lindsay Baker with Lunch Break Live, and I am here with Mandy Vara from Black Sheep Retreat Sanctuary. Mandy, what are you cooking for us today?
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Lindsay. Today I'm going to make a crunchwrap supreme, which is one of the top things that's requested by all my friends when they come and visit, and will be one of the top menu items for the vegan retreat that I'll have.
Let's see some of the ingredients. Can you hold them up and let us see what you're going to be putting in there?
Of course. So we're going to start with refried beans, chorizo, and black beans.
Wow.
To make a nice mix of that.
So we want to let people know, of course, that the chorizo is vegan chorizo, because this show will go out to non-vegans as well as vegans. So where does one find vegan chorizo?
So yes, of course. So for me, everything is always vegan. But we have a local grocery shop here in Mexico called Chedraui, and we actually can get vegan chorizo right there. We also have little individual stores called Mr. Tofu that carry all vegan ingredients that we need, and we can get it there as well.
Wow.
It's really fun. You actually don't need chorizo. You could just use Beyond Meat, vegan taco, meatless taco meat, anything like that would be perfect with this as well.
And we want people to know that you are coming to us from Cancun, Mexico, or very near there. Is that correct?
Yes, I am very
near there. I know.
in Mexico, and we have lots of vegan options here.
You do? That's wonderful. Yeah. Why do you think there's so many vegan options in Cancun?
I think because it's also a tourist destination, so a lot of tourism is coming, and they're into plant-based vegan food, as well as there's a pretty big plant-based vegan groups in the area, so a lot of locals are looking for vegan food as well.
Okay, well, let's get cooking, and we can talk while you're cooking.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to start heating up.
Hi, Tina.
Okay. I'm going to start heating up the soft shell. It's a burrito-sized soft shell, and I'm going to heat it up so that I can get one side hot, and then the second side, I'm going to put some of this vegan cheese on. I actually get this vegan cheese at Costco in Cancun.
Great. So there's a Costco in Cancun. I didn't know that.
There is. I'm
going to show a couple pictures of the sanctuary and the wonderful animals as you're heating that up for a moment. So I'm going to go back and forth as you're doing this. We want to say hi to Tina, some of our regular people that tune in. Tom, what's Tom's question? Yes, she has a sanctuary. Yeah, Tom's rooting for you at the sanctuary. And we want to let people know that the sanctuary, you're trying to buy it. And so we're going to talk about that and what happened, but we want to keep the food going. So I'll let you keep going and we'll cut in between.
Yeah, that's perfect. I do have a sanctuary out here. It will be a sanctuary for rescued farm animals and a vegan retreat. So I will be offering a menu, and this crunchwrap will be on the menu. Right now, I have my stove set to medium. So I'm just getting the outside of the crunchwrap supreme wrap nice and, that'll be the inside. I'm getting the inside nice and warmed up so that the cheese will melt a little bit easier.
So are you using we can't see your stove. So are you using an electric stove and it's on top the way sometimes people warm it, or how are you warming it on the stove?
Sorry about that.
No worries.
I have it in my pan.
Wonderful. Perfect. All right. So maybe you can show us some of the ingredients that you're putting into it while it warms up.
Okay. So I'm just going to take this here. We have our black beans, our vegan chorizo, and our frijoles, our refried beans. Here, I'm working with a homemade ranch dressing. That's just because personally I don't like sour cream, but I have listed on the ingredients that sour cream would be in place of ranch dressing as well. I'm working with chipotle salsa. And then for vegetables, it's a really simple dish to make, just some lettuce, tomato, onion, and avocado. And then my hard shell, round hard shell tacos. These will go in the center. They are crisp or crunch. And my extra burrito to go on top to make sure that everything is closed.
Mandy, is it difficult for you to switch the camera to landscape from vertical? So we'll get more of a view.
I might have to. I think I would have to.
It's okay, but just sew the food up because we would like the vertical view if we can, like I am.
I would have to leave and come back, I think, because it just turns it sideways otherwise.
It's okay. That's fine. Just keep going. It's fine.
Okay. I'm actually going to flip the burrito. So now the inside is nice and warm.
Nice.
And I'm going to add a pile of cheese to the center. A lot of times I also make my own nacho cheese, plant-based nacho cheese, but that's a lot longer to get into. So
okay, what cheese are you using?
This is actually a brand found in Mexico in Costco, but my favorite is to use Daya, but they're out of Daya this time. Daya, BioLife Mexican blend, any vegan cheese, but unfortunately, yeah, they didn't have BioLife or Daya, so I got just the Costco brand. But you can see I just have it in a smaller circle. I don't have it around the whole entire burrito. So I'm going to cover this and put it back on medium.
Okay.
While the cheese is melting, I'm going to heat up the ingredients of the chorizo, the refried beans, and the black beans. They're all going to go in one dish.
Okay, so the black beans, did you get those right out of the can, or do you add anything to them when you warm them?
Normally I add a little bit of salt and garlic pepper and garlic powder. But with this, because of the chorizo, that adds a pretty good twist.
Yeah.
So I don't add anything. And then on top, I put a little bit of salsa.
I see.
Black beans right out of the can. Everything's going to be mixed together, and I'm going to heat that up. So that's it. Oh,
wow, that's good. Yeah, give us a good, clear picture of that. Thank you. Tom said that try Miyoko's pepper jack. That sounds like a really good idea. I hope, Tom, that you're not seasick any longer, because we settled on the camera being this way, and I think it's going to work fine. But we've got a group here to join. Yeah, and so Mandy, tell us a little bit. What is the next step, and then tell us a little bit about what's been going on lately with you as are you going to be cutting on veggies?
Yes, I will be cutting up veggies the next step. So while the cheese is melting, I'm going to put my lettuce, my tomato, my avocado, and you could do red or white onion. So I'm going to put
I love red onion.
I love, red onion I always find is the best to eat raw, and white onion I like to cook with things. But I also love white onion with tacos, just raw as well. So.
Oh, you like white onion with tacos? That's interesting. I think for me, I like white onion if you're going to use like a Beyond Meat and make sort of a ground beef kind of base for the tacos. I've done that before, and it's really delicious. But while we're talking about that, I guess it's okay to show that this particular individual here, he is the mascot and the reason, what's the word in French? Pièce de résistance. He is the reason that your organization exists, right? Noche.
He is. Noche is the reason for the sanctuary.
Yes, yes. And we're going to talk. Why don't you talk a little bit about the sanctuary as you chop, chop, chop?
Sure.
And keep the camera on the chopping too, if you can, like hold it up every so often so we see how you're chopping, how thick you make things. Because I think that changes the taste, don't you? Like the thickness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. I think that the size that you chop things with is really important. So everything's going to be diced for this.
Okay, dice means what? Cut, because I'm not a chef. Cut into 4 pieces?
Dice is chopped into smaller pieces.
Okay.
Not necessarily a particular number, but chopped into smaller pieces. So I'm dicing. I have this. I don't know if you can actually see my chopping.
Yeah, we can see what you're doing. We can see what you're doing, yeah.
Okay, great.
Great. Stay to the back of where you are, because the camera was up. Yeah, you're off a little now. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, that's good. Well, you can see yourself where it is. So, so you're going to dice them up small. Why do you make it small? Why do you make it so small? Is there a reason that that's important?
It's not super important, but I find when you're taking a bite into something, it's much nicer if like the whole vegetable doesn't come out when you take that bite.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's happened to you. But yeah, if you don't cut through it, it's good that it's already diced up small. So I prefer smaller dices.
It's going to be interesting to see how those vegetables, will they be cooked or is it a raw kind of crunchy wrap?
These ones will be raw.
Wow. Okay, that's where the crunch comes in, folks. That's
that and from our crunch comes from our nice raw vegetables and a nice crunchy hard shell circle.
Oh, I'm excited about this. You know, I've never had this, but I can see that. You know, when you said some of the ingredients, I was like, well, you sent me the recipe. That was great. And it will be, folks, this recipe will be available on janeunchained.com by tomorrow, I believe, or the next day. And just read it every day. There's so many good recipes in there. But I just wanted to say that I can make this tonight. I mean, who doesn't have taco shell, lettuce, red onion, some sort of, you know, meat, vegan meat. I have Beyond Meat. I think I have sausage. I have beans. And so I can use, and now you said the only thing I didn't have was the sour cream, but now you said I can use blue cheese.
Dressing, the ranch dressing or whatever. Yeah. It's super easy to switch around.
Yeah.
Nice avocado.
Lovely. Now, what's the difference of eating raw for our folks out there that'll be watching Jane Unchained maybe for the first time? And folks, some of our regular viewers are so great supporting us and tuning in, but you do happen to see this when you're scrolling through and you see this great crunch recipe supreme and you stop by, share it with your friends. If you're vegan curious, they probably are too. So share the recipe out. There's a great benefit to eating raw food. And Mandy, can you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, definitely. I just want to take a quick break and just let you guys know that I'm actually scooping the entire avocado out of the shell so that I can mash it up. So beautiful avocado. I'm just going to scoop it completely out so I can mash it up. And another thing that I want to let you know that I did was before the cheese was fully melted, I actually took it off of the stove. If you leave it on the stove while the cheese is melting, then the back gets kind of a little bit too crispy. So I took it off the stove and put it on a plate, and I let the cheese finish melting while it was on the plate.
Yes, so melting vegan cheese is tricky.
Yes, it can be, yeah. So keeping it on low and then letting it kind of cool down with the top over it on the plate, that'll get it to melt. Fantastic. And now I'm just mashing up the avocado. And of course, if you want to get fancier, you could make straight guacamole and use guacamole instead. But I think it's delicious with avocado as well. It's a very versatile dish. You can do a lot of things with it.
Great.
And yes, the benefit of raw, I mean, I've really been craving raw food. So this is nice. This is a nice mix between raw and cooked because it does also have the beans and it has taco shell and everything, but it still gives those nice fresh ingredients, which I really, really love. Not to mention the benefit of keeping all the nutrients when they're not being cooked out of it. So we're just fine.
I'm going to make this recipe and I'm going to put a little picture up of me biting into my own, because the one disadvantage of doing it this way on Zoom, even though it's great that we get to see you in Cancun, is I don't get to taste it, but that looks delicious.
So yeah, so easy enough, just smushed up the avocado. And now I'm actually ready to start putting the crunchwrap supreme together. So it's actually pretty quick. It looks really detailed, but it's a pretty quick thing to make. So I have my melted cheese just in a circle pattern.
Wonderful.
And I'm going to pour. I've heated up the refried beans, black beans, and the chorizo.
Yummy.
Which again, whatever you don't like, you can substitute for something that you do, or you can just leave it out.
You can leave it out. You don't have to use what some people call fake meat. If some people say they don't like it, I like it once in a while.
Yeah, I think that the chorizo gives a nice little spice to it, but yeah, not everybody likes it, so it's not necessary. And I definitely made it without it as well. So I'm going to put that in the same circle shape.
That looks great. That looks so delicious. I want some.
No, I wish I could share. So I'm also using some chipotle salsa. And that's really how much you use is just going to depend on how much spice that you like. And I'm going to put that right on top of the taco meat.
So if somebody doesn't have chipotle salsa, of course they can use regular salsa, but is there a way, do you know, I guess you'd have to use a certain pepper to make to add that to your salsa, the chipotle flavor?
Yep. So yeah, again, in Mexico, you can get almost everything in chipotle flavor. But yeah, if you get chipotle chilies, they're canned chipotle chilies, you could blend that in with your salsa, and that would give that little chipotle sauce of flavor.
Let's,
so here the cheese, the beans, and the soy chorizo topped with some salsa.
Yummy.
And then whatever kind, actually my favorite salsa is at Trader Joe's, but I don't have access to that, so I go for the chipotle salsa. So whatever the salsa you can get. We don't have a Trader Joe's down here, unfortunately.
We have a viewer called Lo Ra saying boycott meat and all other animal products of cruelty and exploitation in any way possible. And this is certainly a way to do it by eating this amazing food.
Definitely. So I'm coming back over with my avocado and my hard shell, circle hard shells. If you can't make these hard shell circles, you could also just get hard shell tacos and just break them in half, and you'd have 2 semicircles.
Okay. Wow, this is different.
I'm just going to place the avocado onto the underside of the taco. So I love to do a nice, almost a full avocado on there, depending on the size.
Love it.
This will, of course, depend on how much you love avocado. I love it a lot. Yeah. And then I'm going to go in with the tomatoes, and I'm going to sprinkle those on top.
Lovely.
So again, it's all customizable. If you have other vegetables that you want to put on top.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to go in with the red onions.
Yeah. Give me some red onion. I feel like you're making it for me, but I don't get it.
I love the red onions too.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
A little salad, and that's going to go directly on top here.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. I've never done anything like that in my life.
So, really? I also have put in the recipe that you want either 2 burrito shells or a taco size and a burrito size. I'm just going to bend it so you guys can see. I'm going to take my second burrito shell, and I'm going to cut it about 1 inch above the round crunch.
Folks, zoom in with your cameras if you can. Hold that up, Mandy. Yeah.
So I cut it about 1 inch.
So you took the small taco shell and you put it in the big taco burrito, and then you cut it out.
Yeah, but also if you have access to just getting taco shells, it's about the same size as a soft taco shell.
Okay.
So this ends up about that size. And I'm just going to keep this up.
Okay. Wow. This is getting interesting. I wasn't expecting this. This is interesting. Let's see. We've got more comments here. Just real quick. Let's let people jump in. Hello. Can you answer my little question? Okay. Where is the question? I'm not sure what the question is. But if you can ask it again, we'll try and answer it. I don't see the question. Anyway, go ahead, Mandy.
Okay. So here I've got my cheese, beans, soy chorizo. On top, I have the hard shell circle with the avocado. Sorry, I went out of the camera. With the avocado, tomatoes, red onions, and I'm going to add the lettuce.
Wow.
Lots of lettuce.
It's like a tower of temptation.
And now I'm going to come in. And now if you are a sour cream person, I would put the sour cream on this side of the taco shell.
Okay.
Of your second taco shell.
What if we're a blue cheese person? Are you going to put that on there and show us, or?
I'm a ranch person, so with ranch, I just drizzle it right over the top.
Ooh.
And I make my ranch with the base of using Follow Your Heart mayonnaise, so it's a vegan mayonnaise. That's at the base.
Oh, you make your own ranch?
I do, yeah. I go for it pretty quickly. So it's more cost effective, and it's actually pretty easy to make. I can send that recipe as well.
Okay, she's going to send the homemade ranch recipe along. So be sure and check out the story on Mandy and her sanctuary, which we're going to talk about.
Yes, sorry, the crunchwrap goes so quickly. So again, I'm just taking the second shell. I'm going to place that on top of everything just for that little extra crunch.
Uh-huh.
Wow. That on top.
Whoa.
And now let me.
I am really intrigued.
Okay, let's see. Is that pretty zoomed in? Can you see pretty well there?
I can see it pretty good, yeah. It's nice to be a little bigger, but we can see it. That's good. That's good. Okay. Stay like that. Good.
So right here is where we're folding for the crunch wrap. So everything is going to be tucked in.
Everything's tucked in. Now, Shay, what are you doing to tuck it under?
I just took a spoon and I just made sure everything was kind of nice and placed.
Oh, okay. Good.
And tuck it under. And this is why I have a little bit of a larger size on top so that everything is tucked in. And I'm going to fold one piece over and then kind of putting some pressure like I'm folding a gift, fold the next piece. Put a little bit.
Oh, I think she dropped her camera, folks, but wow, it's like origami of food. What she's doing here is phenomenal. So, Mandy, we'll give you a second to recover that. We are live, so we know things like this happen. And you're doing a darn good job there, Mandy, so don't worry.
Thank you. So sorry, my phone.
No worries. Keep going. We're trying to see how the ending comes up here.
Okay, let's see. Hopefully that's
no worries. It's fine.
Okay, and let me there we go.
Yeah. Getting
so
hungry.
Folding a gift, like when you're folding the sides in on a present, you just put a little bit of pressure here, pinch, pinch and then fold, pinch and fold, and then the last one in the center and fold.
That looks like a really, really fancy pastry now.
Yes. So
very
cool. And upside down, I have my pan. I'm going to put it in my pan upside down.
Wow.
And we'll come back over.
So there's a lot of steps, but they're super easy. It's almost like fun. You're like constructing something and then you eat it. It's Take some pictures, everyone, before you eat it, and then put it on Instagram and Facebook and name Mandy and Black Sheep and give a donation. Let's spread the word and the love.
Thank you. Yeah, so I have a sanctuary down here as well, and we are a nonprofit in the process for nonprofit status, and I started about a year ago. We formed, although I've had Noche, my rescue animal, or the one who started everything, my sheep, my little black sheep. I had him for about 2.5 years now. And so we've been doing a fundraising campaign because I'm from the US and my sanctuary is in Mexico. And that's because we had this little lamb who needed a home and nobody to give one to him because we only have 8 other farm sanctuaries in the entire country. So I was the one who ended up giving him the home, and I gave him a home and a family as well. I rescued the rest of his sheep family. And there's Mr. Noche. He's and Russell, one of my loves, who was rescued because of Regan Russell. Sky and Nube and Noche all eating their branches. So our sanctuary, and one of our rescue chickens, Pebbles.
And I think I have one more page of animal shots.
Oh. So we have Regan and Jill. Regan was rescued actually the day of Regan Russell's memorial service. So we're coming up on our year anniversary for me and Regan, and unfortunate anniversary of Regan Russell's passing. But so my goal here is to give as many animals as possible a unconditional loving home and peaceful home, which I do live out in the jungle. So it's a very, very peaceful home. There's no cars around, no people around. They're just super, super love it here. And what makes that unique and really nice is that it's a really great place for people to come and relax as well. So I'm also adding on a vegan retreat, which will help. All the profit from the vegan retreat will go to caring for animals and building more animal shelters and making more spaces and rescuing and saving more lives.
And you had a little snafu recently that was just tragic. You want to talk about that? I mean, after going through all of you've been through, and I remember I was watching on Facebook and you mentioned that your air conditioner went out. And I don't recall what animal it was, but one of your brood couldn't sleep and you actually slept in your car. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I hope that's safe, you know?
Yeah,
And
I've been in my car, sleeping in my car for the last almost 2 weeks. I think it's been 12 days now, because I had a break-in. My landlords are not so much a break-in. I had 4 armed men come to my house and shove past me and get inside my house, because my landlord had fired, it was an employee who had worked here, and my landlord had fired him that day, and he was really upset with my landlord, and he wanted more money, so he knew that I lived alone, so he came to me to get it. So him
wow.
and 2 other men entered my home. First, one other man cut my cable, because if I have no internet, I have no service, so they actually took a machete and just cut right through my internet service, so I couldn't call for help, and then they barged into my home. Took a lot of things, but all I was asking is that they don't hurt the animals, which they said they wouldn't. However, when I followed them out when they were finally leaving, I did follow them out because they have to run by the animals in order to leave the property. So I just wanted to be sure that the animals were safe. And one of them did mention taking a goat. I have sheep, I don't have goats, but it's the same to them. So because of that, I have been outside the animals' house in my car for the last 2 weeks until all of the security system. I'm now fundraising for.
So he said it as an offhanded comment to his friends as he was leaving, and you fear that he might come back for the animal.
He said, yeah, tomar los borregos, which is to take the goats. So yesterday we just had steel doors with deadbolt locks installed on the sheep's area. So that'll help a little bit. But it's definitely one of my biggest fears that somebody ever takes and harms one of my animals. So I have been camping basically 24/7 in my car outside their house, just to make sure that nobody does come back. And if they do, I'm right there. So
yeah.
So yeah,
that's tragic. And the fact that, that slows you down, of course, having to buy all this equipment. Not first they took the money, so that's a loss. And now you have to buy all this defense mechanisms to keep them the heck out of there. So that's another loss. And another expense. And now this is cutting into, you were almost at your deadline for not the deadline, but your goal to reach. You're almost there.
Yeah.
So how far away are you now from the money that you need? How much do you need now?
It has slowed us down because right now my focus is on getting security, changing all the locks, security system. So I have a camera set up and an alarm, motion sensor alarm. So I'll be able to be alerted if anybody enters near the animal space. So it has slowed me down. I was $30,000 away from my goal of buying the land when we started at $220,000. So we got really, I have somebody who's lending me $100,000, and I currently have a donor who's matching up to $40,000 US dollars. So every donation that you make towards the purchase of this land, so that this can be their forever home, that will be doubled. So I am only $30,000 away, but yeah, currently right now, all of my fundraising is going towards, of course, their monthly care, but also towards setting up a little bit better security so that I can be sleeping back in my house and still have some safety.
Yeah, we want to get back to the subject in a minute, but let's see what's going on with the food.
Yeah, so the Crunchwrap Supreme, I let it sit a little bit too long, but it's not too bad. So
my fault.
Got talking about
crunchy. I like it that way. I would eat it.
Yeah, I will still eat it. So I like to also cut it down the middle. So I'm going to cut it down the middle, and then you can also see what it looks like inside.
Oh yeah, and then you got to do a taste test for us. Remember, you need to take some photos too. Will you be able to do that?
Yes, of course. I have photos. I thought I had sent them. So sorry. I do have some nice photos of it.
Oh, wonderful. Yowza, that looks so good. I'd love to take a bite of that. Why don't you do that for us?
Sure. Yeah. So it is
so
delicious.
good.
And I also do like to serve it with either ranch, sour cream, and salsa, or blue cheese, whichever you're a fan of.
I bet that really fills you up, that meal there.
It is very filling. Yeah, it's very compacted, but it's very filling. So I'm gonna try some.
Good. Yeah, I can imagine.
Totally.
My mouth is watering.
It's so good.
Hold it up again for the audience so they can see it. Wow, that looks stacked. Whoa, that is beautiful. Wait, let me put you on full camera. Hold that up again. Woo, that looks great. Fantastic. Yummy. I got to make something like that.
Got nice and fresh fruits and vegetables, but also filling, so filling with the beans and the chorizo and everything, the vegan chorizo. So it's super, super filling, and then still nice and fresh with the fresh avocado, the fresh ranch for me, or sour cream or blue cheese. And it's super versatile. Like if you don't like tomatoes, don't put tomatoes. I've put green onions in there. You can switch type of onions. You could put peppers if you wanted. So it's really whatever you want to make it. Or I also use nacho cheese pretty often as well.
Yeah, and I just want to show people again, Tom is saying, I'm curious about vegan chorizo. So you talked about that, actually. Tell again where you got that.
I've got it at my local grocery store.
Do you have the package? People could just kind of see it.
Yeah. So this is the package of it.
Oh, phenomenal. Huh. Maybe if you Google it, Tom, I guess you could Google it, right? Because
yeah, definitely. Because we also have some from a store called Mr. So it's another Mexican brand. But I have seen vegan chorizo in the States, so it does exist there.
I would imagine here in LA you would go to Follow Your Heart.
Yeah, something.
Or online.
Yeah, I definitely check it out online. But I imagine there must be. I mean, if we have it here, it must be in the U.S.
I'm just reading some of the strange donations of any size appreciated to help Mandy secure the sanctuary with purchase of the land. GoFundMe, we have the GoFundMe comment in there, which we'll add again, and various places where you can donate. Any little amount will help for sure. And if there are any big investors, you're down to needing only 30,000. And I understand last time, tell me if this is still true, that you're willing to have a partnership with that investment. Is that true, or?
Board members is
a board member. Okay.
We can be on. We can work something out. I do have one of the investors wants to be on the board, or want somebody who's loaning me actually 100,000. He'll end up on the board, and then we'll have an advisory board. So definitely we can work something out. But also, every $10 donation that you make, you do enter to win an all expenses paid trip for 2 people to the vegan retreat for 5 nights.
We have to wrap up, but I do want you to just talk a little bit about that you actually are a chef. You do lots and lots of different dishes, and you offer a tour. Talk about that real quick and how the food comes into it, if you would.
Yeah, so the vegan retreat, I am a cook, so within the retreat, everything is plant-based. Of course, you'll be able to bring your own food if you want, but I also offer a pretty wide menu. From some American, Mexican, like the crunchwrap to supreme, to more Italian, like pizzas and calzones, and to more American burgers and everything like that. So, and then to more whole foods, fresh food, Mediterranean bowls, hummus, all of that stuff. I offer all that. So I do cook quite a lot, and that will all be within the B&B. So anybody who stays, you can order from that, and it's just one group of people at a time. So it's always going to be very calm. But I will also offer tours of the sanctuary. So if you come and you don't want to stay at the B&B, you can just have a tour. You can meet our residents, and then you can also finish with a late lunch or an early dinner from the menu as well.
Mandy, you used to swim and dive and so forth, and I have a picture of you with sharks.
Sharks and dolphins, yeah.
Sharks and dolphins. Do you still do tours with that, or is that over for you?
Unfortunately, my dive shop closed down when COVID first started. But for anybody who does want to learn to dive, it all depends on the help that I have here. So if I have somebody else here, I can take people out diving. But if I don't have somebody else here, I can set it up for a vegan company who I am friendly with. It's a vegan scuba company, and they can take you out diving as well.
Phenomenal. Well, that sounds fantastic. So folks should think about that as well, taking a trip there. Okay, Mandy, well, we have to wrap it up. Can you hold the food up just one more time? And we will let our guests know that, our viewers know that they will have this recipe available. And like I said, I think I'm going to just try and go for it tonight. You gave me the recipe already. So,
yeah,
but it's super simple. It looks phenomenal, and wow. So thank you so much for being here, Mandy. I wish you well. I hope that you raise the funds you need, and we'll be checking in with you and helping out where we can. So we'll see you next time, folks. Thanks for tuning in to Lunch Break Live. Jane on Chain.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.